Hey guys, what is going on? Zach here, and today I've got another random map game, and it's going to be a 1v1 versus RVK Chris and Fedex. But before I do get started, I do want to say I know today was supposed to be 0 to hero, but I tell you what, it takes me so long to get these videos recorded and made. It's a real nightmare to actually do them in the time that I have. So that's going to be slightly delayed, but it will be coming out this week. Don't worry, never fear. So that is going to be coming up, but just not quite yet. So bear with me on that one, guys. But instead, I've got another random map commentary instead. So you can enjoy that while you wait, I suppose. So, as I said, we've got Chris and Fedex. Chris playing in green down to the south of the map. He's playing as Huns. And Fedex in red up to the northeast of the map, playing in red as Huns as well. As I just said, in red. In red. The map, of course, as you can probably tell by looking at this absolute mess, is Salt Marsh. And Salt Marsh is a pretty interesting map, not one that is played all that often, because it can be very imbalanced and quite unfair sometimes, because the water is sort of so very randomly placed, and also because the marsh bit itself, the shallows here that make the marsh can also be very imbalanced in places. It looks though like this map is reasonably fair, I would say. They're both about the same distance from the water in the middle, which is where there's a lot of big fish, and also there's no shallows that really prevent them from walling too much. I mean, Chris is probably going to have a tougher wall here than Fedex if he wanted to. Of course, Fedex can't just stroll across the middle of the map. He has got to go all the way around. In which case, Chris is going to have a tougher wall, I think, just based on the fact that there are shallows all the way around. But other than that, I'd say it was reasonably well balanced, this map, and which can be quite unusual for Salt Marsh, to be honest. But anyway, I'm going to speed things up through the Dark Age and wait until we get to some action. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw both of these players trying to take some fish in the centre of the map. Obviously, as you can see, there is a lot of big fish here, and that is going to give them a nice little boost when it comes to getting food throughout the feudal age. And of course, both of them playing as Huns, which are both reasonably good water civilizations. Obviously, Huns here don't have to build houses, which means that they save a lot of wood, and that wood can be used to make fishing ships, and it can be used to make galleys, which is really important if you want to take water. So Huns work out to be a pretty damn good water civilization. So let's see. Now I think Chris here, he's going to want to play this fairly aggressive on the water. As you can see, his gold on the front, that is very easily attacked. This one too is secondary gold, very easily, and it's tertiary gold, very easily attacked by any ships. And already you can see he's putting a watchtower right here to defend this gold pile. He knows that if he loses the water to Fedex, then he is going to find himself losing his gold as well, and that's going to cost him very muchly in the longer game. However, in this situation, Fedex isn't even going on the water. He's going straight down with 2 archery ranges. Looks like he's going to get really aggressive on the land, and that's one good thing about this map. It gives you that option. Chris building a little bit of a smiley face down here. He just ruined it by building this little bit of palisade this side, but a little bit of a smile going on right there, and that's going to be to wall himself in. And Chris, you know, in my opinion, is one of the best sort of strategic wallers that I see play AOC on a regular basis. You may have seen in the GML and some other situations, he usually finds a way to make a good wall, usually incorporating his town centre, and oftentimes his walls can be very effective indeed. We'll see how effective they are in this situation. He's starting to make galleys now to secure some water, and as you can see, Fedex just making a dock. But the lack of a dock over this side means that Fedex is going to be fairly slow getting up some fishing ships. He's also losing some down here, so not a huge emphasis on fishing for Fedex, but Chris is going to take some ships out here, and he's going to gain control by the looks of things, judging by the fact that he has 3 docks up already. And also, he's kind of very much, even a gate here, that's nice. He's even, you know, very much prepared for the fact that Fedex probably will come over with some land army. We'll see what Fedex actually does with that. He's actually, too, defending this massive swath of forage bushes here with a watchtower. And that is to make sure, again, these ships cannot kill the villagers over that side. Fedex then as I said, making some archers right now. There they are, en masse. Quite a few of them. Putting a blacksmith down as well to get +1, of course. And just waiting to see what he's going to do. It looks like he's going to send them all the way around. It's quite a long way to go, actually. I mean, he's going to go this way, around here, and down, and then towards Chris's base. But Chris, as I said, already very well aware that Fedex is likely to be sending a land army, or even fast castling, just based on the fact that he's not really made any galleys on the water. As you can see right there, though, there is a transport ship for Fedex, and that could be used later on, but it's a bit risky. If he sends villagers across or units across in the transport ship, and the transport ship goes down to Chris's galleys, well, then you lose everything. You lose your transport ship and whatever's inside of it, so that's pretty ugly stuff. Chris here, though, taking a good lead due to taking out Fedex's fishing ships. That's allowed Chris to add a few more in as well. He's now got 7 right there, I think, yeah, 8, 9 even. And he is going to be taking a lot of fish, and that's going to give him a big advantage, because we have a look at how much food Fedex has. 61, Chris on 76, but 46 population to Fedex's 40. So he's certainly getting a little bit ahead there, and I think Chris could be able to go up to the castle age slightly faster as he is making these fishing ships here. We'll see if he makes it worthwhile. He's not seeding any farms back home, so he's relying a lot on the fish to get his food in, and he's continuing to take lots of wood, lots of gold. Continuing to add in some galleys for good measure as well. Fedex then, his archer's just making it down here right now. Not seeing any +1 from him though just yet, and there it is, as I said it. And he's going to come in right now. Looks like he's going to be able to hit this wood, which is going to be a little bit of a pain for Chris. Chris doesn't have any stone, so making a watchtower here is going to be tough. He doesn't have any stone within his walls either. So it's actually, you know, if Fedex plays this really aggressive on land, he could very easily stop Chris or coop him in a sense, and do big damage. Looks like he's going to be okay for now. I don't know if these archers will be able to reach over this side. And Chris now making a barracks, so he's going to have to defend this somehow. Making a market as well, and that's definitely not too fast castle, as he's nowhere near the 800 food mark that he needs. So possibly a market to buy some stone, maybe to make a tower, or to just, I don't know, buy sell basically. His economy is looking pretty messy right now, to be honest with you. But that's because he's walled himself in like this and given Fedex the opportunity to send archers over this side of the map. There's one villager down, and Chris did buy stone indeed. Putting up a blacksmith there as well, and he's going to put a watchtower right here to defend himself from these archers. Should be fairly effective. Fedex is still making a lot of archers back at home, and if we have a look at his resources right now, starting to seed a few farms as well. Of course, lacking the fishing ships that I was talking about that Chris has. So I'll be interested to see who makes it up to castle first. Chris actually a little bit further behind in terms of food, but should accelerate fairly quickly with his food here, as he does have a lot of fishing ships. Fedex now being chased down by the galleys here. He's about to send some archers over though in this transport, and if you can get a transport into here, he could be a real pain for Chris, I tell you that. So here we go, transport ship being loaded right now. Fedex with his archers in there, 5 archers for that matter. And can he get them over? That's the question. He's kind of just like, do I want to put my archers down here? He's going to try and lead Chris away with this one, but he's actually turned around. Is Fedex going to get it over, or is he going to lose his transport ship? There's 3 galleys there. Chris hasn't noticed yet. He's a little bit slow, and it looks like Fedex could get this ship over. If he does, that's going to be huge for him. He just needs to land them. Yes, he did. And that's it. His transport ship's going to go down, but the 5 archers got in. That was very close indeed. Now, will Fedex be able to make much out of this? Losing a couple of archers already to the galleys and the watchtower. And Chris putting up more watchtowers as well. Of course, he's had to buy these watchtowers, which is not ideal. Fedex with more archers coming outside here as well. And Fedex doesn't look like he's going to be able to really poke all that much at all, for that matter. Chris really towering up, playing very defensively here indeed. And Fedex is not going to be so lucky, I think. 38 population, losing a few archers and boats right there. Not so good at all. Up to castle though. And Chris is a little bit slower up, actually. His economy, to be fair, has been quite disturbed, and now, of course, he's just going to be relying on these fishing ships to get that food that he needs, which is going to be done fairly soon, I think, as he's almost got the 800 food to go up to the castle age. Fedex then, 2 docks going down right here. Looks like he's going to go for fire ships once he reaches castle, which is a very popular and common strategy that I've seen, well, Fedex do quite often, but also that a lot of players do when they've lost the water, pardon me, in feudal. But they can get up to castle faster. So Fedex here plonking down 2 more docks, and if he makes a load of fire ships, then he could secure the water from Chris. If Chris continues making galleys, which he's not doing, then he can be very confident in the fact that he's going to be able to retain water control. Let's have a look at his fog of war, see if he actually scouts these docks down here. Doesn't look like he will. And more towers from Chris. Considering he's buying these towers, it's not the most cost-efficient way of getting them. But for now, he should be okay from these archers, and making a couple of skirms as well, just to clear up the archers in his base. So that's all good for Chris. Though he's slightly further behind going up to castle, his population is a good 13 ahead. Sorry, even more than that. 23 ahead, which is huge by comparison. So Fedex then, about to hit castle, he really needs to make a difference here once he gets up to the castle age. He needs to act quick, act fast. There's the castle age research. He's lacking quite a lot of army, but fire ships are being queued up right now. And if he acts quickly and swiftly, he could make good use of these fires. I can hear a stable going up for him as well, which means knights, and he's got his economy pretty well built up for that. He's obviously got farms and gold coming in by the plenty. He isn't adding in another GC, however, so no economy there for him. I imagine we'll see Chris adding TCs, or not. Judging by the fact he's put 4 archery ranges up right there, that does mean that we're not going to see TCs from him. He's also up to castle age as well, with 3 fire ships out straight away, and now 4 even. He's got so many docks. He should be able to push Fedex away quite quickly, quite swiftly. And once he's done that, he's going to retain water control. Meanwhile, making a cavalry archer 4 at a time. Chris is going to get really aggressive right here. Well, I say 4 at a time. He's not making any. Now he is. So there we go. Chris is going to be sending them over to Fedex's base. Fedex needs to defend. He needs some kind of answer to this. At the moment, focusing down Chris's fishing ships to remove that advantage that he has there, and closing the score gap slightly as well in doing so. But Chris still got the advantage, certainly got the advantage. Fedex, of course, just trying to snipe those fishing ships there as best he can. Chris is going to have a much bigger economy at this stage of the game. 68 population compared to Fedex's 48. That's a big 20 difference. Not so good at all. Chris then, let's see. I'm expecting that he'll get another TC up eventually. He's got the wood for it, actually. But making cavalry archers 4 at a time going to cost quite a bit of wood. And he's going to need some more stone as well to do that. But certainly a lot of cavalry archers coming out right now. Fedex then trying to transport once again. But looks like he's going to lose that transport ship. He's very persistent with this transportation sort of strategy. But it's certainly not paying off for him, losing quite a lot of wood in transport ships, which is obviously not so good for him at all. Also, going for the rather more expensive option of knights, not so great of an idea. Chris coming in now, +2 attacks, that's Bodkin Arrow done, +1 defense as well. Those cavalry archers starting to pick off villagers, and that is certainly not what Fedex wants right here. He needs to send his knights over there ASAP. But Chris already has the numbers advantage in this sense, with more cavalry archers than Fedex has knights, but Fedex has upgraded +2 defense on these guys, so that should be okay for now. Quickly going to try and get up a TC, but he's going to lose a lot of villagers in the process. There's 2 more down, 3, almost 3. There's, come on, that's 3. That's 3 right there. And Fedex, as well as all these over here, is taking massive, massive losses. He doesn't really seem to have enough knights out as well. Yes, they do have +2 defense, but the cavalry archers have +2 attack. Of course, they can keep kiting around and hitting and running on the villagers. And Fedex can take out these cavalry archers. It doesn't really bother Chris, as long as he can hit and run on the villagers. These cavalry archers have already paid for themselves. Not only are they much cheaper than knights, they're also, ranged, so they can pick off villagers from a distance. We'll see if Chris decides to decimate this gold over here. doesn't look like he's going to. He's just going to walk on by. And now, going to use his fire ships down here to get into the mix, do some extra damage with those. They only do 2 damage, but they damage very rapidly. And the cavalry archer's backed into a corner. Will he win this fight? It looks likely that he will, with the fire ships getting involved as well. The cavalry archers, of course, able to kill off the enemy archers very quickly. And more cavalry archers on this side. Nice one from Chris, actually, bringing these over. They are in range, and that looks like the rest of Fedex's knights are going to go down right there. Very, very close indeed. And Fedex resigns. Wow. He really did not play that one so well at all. Of course, there were cavalry archers back here from Chris as well. And I think Fedex's biggest mistake here was not fighting for the water. The fishing ships that Chris had gave him a huge eco boost, and it allowed him to obviously progress very quickly once he reached the castle age and leave sort of Fedex behind in his dust. Fedex did do a nice little strategy there, trying to take the water back with fire ships, but he wasn't up to the castle age fast enough, and of course his 2 docks against Chris's 4 were never going to match the amount of fire ships he could put out. So obviously Fedex losing the water, and hence probably for that reason losing the game. So well played, Chris. Very nicely done indeed. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. As usual, I've been Zach, and I'll see you next time.